If you're wondering whether being the principal protector of a pedophile ring is starting to get on Mike Johnson and House Republicans' nerves, this should answer that question.
Their party continues to hit all-time historic lows in poll after poll after poll, and many of you have reported on that. These are objective facts. They're utterly lost as a party, and everybody can see it. So what are they doing? They see a shiny object, and they latch onto it. Democrats did not say one word about the Epstein files for the entire Biden presidency. They had all the files in the Biden DOJ. They didn't say a word about it. 4 years, not a word. And suddenly now, they somehow convince themselves that the Epstein files will be damaging to President Trump and Republicans in some way that they've imagined. And so they feign outrage.
Let's be clear. Democrats don't care about transparency or accountability in this matter. The evidence we've gathered does not implicate President Trump in any way. Public reporting, survivor testimony, and official documents show that Bill Clinton had far closer ties to Epstein.
The evidence we gathered does not implicate President Trump in any way, which is why we've decided to unilaterally prevent the release of all of that evidence, why 1,000 FBI agents were assigned to redact Trump's names from the files, why the House has been out of session for 2 months now, and why Mike Johnson refuses to swear in Adelita Grijalva despite her election being certified 3 weeks ago. But other than all that, trust them when they say that Donald Trump is totally, definitely not implicated in any way. Or how about Mike Johnson claiming that the Democrats have convinced themselves that the Epstein files will be, quote, damaging to President Trump and Republicans in some way that they've imagined, and so they feign outrage. Damaging in some way? Dude is in the files. Pam Bondi told Trump that he was in the files. Elon Musk announced to the world that Donald Trump was in the files. The files are so damaging that Mike Johnson won't even call the House into session because he's too afraid to allow them to be released. Damaging in some way? Adelita Grijalva is begging to be sworn in. Here's her today trying to get the attention of the Speaker Pro Tem to be able to start doing her job.
Pursuant to Clause 13 of Rule 1, the House stands adjourned until 2 p.m. on Friday, October 24, 2025.
But yeah, I wonder why the Democrats could possibly have gotten the idea that the Epstein files are somehow damaging to Trump. Truly one of life's great mysteries. But the most shameless part of all of this is that amid the gaslighting, amid the obfuscating, this is what Mike Johnson is saying on the other side of his mouth.
These ladies who've come forward, they estimate there may be as many as 1,000 young women who were subjected to these heinous crimes. And many of them have chosen not to come forward and show their faces and reveal their names because it would compound the harm that they've already suffered. And so we want to protect those people. That's the sum total of all of this. That's our responsibility. And short of that, we want maximum transparency. And that is exactly what the American people are getting right now.
Let me remind you, the House has been out of session for 2 months because Mike Johnson's sole goal in life is to serve as Donald Trump's errand boy and prevent the release of those files for Trump. He refuses to let the 218th vote on the discharge petition get sworn in. And all the while, he stands up there and says that he wants maximum transparency. Yes, you've never seen transparency like this. Transparency like a cement wall is transparent. You'd have to duct tape your eyes shut to get this level of transparency again. I mean, I'm sorry, but who is Mike Johnson fooling here? Honestly, who is this for? Who is dim enough to believe that the same party falling over itself to prevent the release of the Epstein files is somehow the party that is striving for full, maximum transparency?
Funniest thing,
Or the Epstein files is a hoax.
bro, the fucking Epstein thing is just
Nothing but a hoax.
It's just I don't even understand. I don't get it. It is the easiest political victory. Like if you just
It is,
do
but
it
it isn't. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not supporting anything. Just be really clear, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But if you have relationships with all these insanely wealthy people that are going to be
Hurt by this?
severely impacted by this, like this is the ultimate political football. Because I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know who the people are, but I've heard things. And if those things are true, you're dealing with some of the most powerful people in the world, some of the wealthiest people in the world.
Look, if you're a Republican voter, don't you see how much contempt your elected officials have for you? Can't you see how stupid they think you are? If they want to cover for a pedophile ring, that's their prerogative. They can do whatever they choose to do, but at least have the balls to own your own position. At least don't gaslight the people who voted for you right to their faces. As it relates to Epstein, this has been Republicans' game plan from the very beginning. They all swept into office promising up and down that they're there to deliver real transparency to the American people on Epstein. They're not going to let those powerful elites who've done horrific things to children get away with it anymore. Cut to, the guy they all work for is literally in the files, and all of them are falling over themselves, not to expose those people, but to protect them. The polar opposite of what they promised on the campaign trail. And the worst part is that they're still acting like they did us some favor by being transparent when they themselves are the sole impediment to the release of those files. And frankly, it's not just the Epstein files. Trump and Republicans promised to bring down costs, to lower inflation, to make IVF free, to end the Russia-Ukraine war, to make groceries cheaper, housing cheaper, rent cheaper, to protect earned benefits. They've done none of that. You know what they've done? They've cut Medicaid from 17 million Americans. They've launched a trade war that sent the cost of everything surging. They are right now ensuring that healthcare for anyone who gets ACA subsidies will double, triple, or quadruple. And amid all of that, what is Donald Trump's focus? A $200 million ballroom. A new jet courtesy of Qatar and retrofitted on the backs of American taxpayers to the tune of $1 billion. A gold-adorned Oval Office. A couple of private jets for Kristi Noem. And just today, a demand to the DOJ that they pay him $230 million as compensation for the DOJ rightfully indicting him after he tried to steal the 2020 election. That is who Donald Trump is looking out for. Trump and his pals. He swept into office promising to look out for everyone else, and now that he's in office is solely focused on himself. He used your votes to give himself power so he can use that power to help himself and fuck everybody else over. I spoke to Glenn Kirshner about exactly that point. Here's what he had to say.
My take is that this is exactly who Donald Trump is and has always been. You know, I think the more pressing question that we need to ask right now is when, if ever, will any of the Republicans in Congress put a stop to Donald Trump's destruction of the institutions of government, destruction of American democracy. You know, not to jump to another story, Brian, but when we saw splashed all over the front page of newspapers, both nationally and internationally, Donald Trump destroying portions of the White House, not even putting up screening to block the view from the public. I worked for decades in downtown D.C., and I can tell you, when we have these kind of demolition and reconstruction projects on government buildings, you know what they do? Just as they did when they worked on the Federal Reserve building, they put screening up to block the... Donald Trump wants everybody to see his authority, his power, his abuse, and he's tearing down historic portions of the White House just because he can. That's the perfect metaphor for what he's doing to every damn institution of government. He is taking a sledgehammer to it. He is destroying it because that sends the signal that he's all powerful, at least in his estimation, and nobody better buck him, including perhaps most importantly, the Republicans in Congress, who literally have the power to cross the aisle and save the republic by impeaching and removing him. So I think the question that I am forever asking, and I will never stop asking because I will never give the Republicans in Congress a pass, because it looks to me like they're complicit in Donald Trump's attempted destruction of the institutions of the federal government. When will enough be enough? How much does he have to steal from the American taxpayers? How much does he have to hurt the constituents of every single Republican in Congress before they say enough is enough?
And of course, to watch my legal breakdown episodes with Glenn or any of my other content, please subscribe to this channel. It is and always will be 100% free and is a great way to support me and independent media more broadly. The reality, though, is that these Republicans will only continue lying so long as they feel that it's acceptable to do so. So the sooner Republican voters decide to speak out and stop giving these pedophile protectors a pass, the sooner we'll see these bad faith lies that they spew come to an end. But clearly, they're not there yet. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.